Welcome to the Scalpel of Truth podcast, the members-only inner circle club for VIP bachachos, with your host, Leisa Krauss, the bitchin' beautician, also known as the Prophet Queen. And don't worry, the cursing and salty language is already included in your club fees. As a business consultant with over 30 years in the industry, Leisa is a no-nonsense profit strategist, international speaker, motivational sales trainer, and thought leader. Known for her bold, unapologetic style, she coaches med spa owners, managers, and providers all over the world to become high-end profit powerhouses. Her practice growth strategies are sharp, her stories even sharper, and her panache for bringing the spice, the sharpest. So get ready to transform your practice into a wildly successful luxury brand. Buckle up, bitchachos. Leisa is about to slice and dice another episode of The Scalpel of Truth.
Welcome back to the Scalpel of Truth podcast. I'm your host, Leisa, aka the bitchin' beautician and profit strategist and truth teller for all things med spa and medical aesthetic practices. Today's episode cuts deep because praise and perks can be a double-edged scalpel. Use them right, and you build loyalty, you drive performance, you elevate your team's culture. You use them wrong, and you've just created a fucking monster. One who thinks they're untouchable, irreplaceable, and above all, accountability. I'm breaking down how to reward without regret, how to empower without entitlement, and how to keep your best team inspired. Because leadership isn't about acting like, oh, I just want to be liked. I'm saying yes to everything. I'm going to give sugar, sugar, sugar. No, it's about being respected. If you've ever wondered why your top performer suddenly turns into a diva, this episode is your wake-up call. Here's the legal part I need to read. This podcast is presented solely for educational entertainment purposes. Guys, I'm just your beauty business bitch. I'm not a licensed therapist or an HR representative, nor am I a lawyer. This platform's used to share my experiences with what's made me a successful service provider, a manager, and a business consultant for those who I coach. Got it? Beautiful. I've done an episode like this and touched on this in the past, but today we're doing a deep dive on this one because the amount of reach outs for this exact issue lately has been actually insane. Time I spent a little bit more on the content for this one. Let's face it, every med spa owner, manager, clinic lead has lived this nightmare in the past. You want to reward your team. You want to reward their praise with effort and everything they've put in. You want to give perks, all the things. But then all of a sudden, the tables turn. Instead of gratitude, you've got entitlement. Instead of teamwork, you get attitude. Instead of collaboration, you get chaos. And then what happens? You're the one walking on eggshells in your own fucking practice. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Not today, not in your clinic, and not on my watch. Here's the truth that you won't hear in most management seminars. Praise is fuel. It's not dessert. You don't hand it out like Halloween candy, okay? It is the myth of unlimited praise. When praise is constant, vague, unearned, it doesn't actually motivate. What it does is it mutates. It breeds ego instead of excellence. It feeds comfort instead of growth. Here is your first pearl. Always praise specific actions tied to outcomes. Never broad strokes, okay? You don't say, oh gosh, you're amazing all the time. You say, fantastic job. You closed 2 elite bundles yesterday by asking better questions, not selling out of your own pocket, and not being afraid to ask for the business. That moved your conversion closing rate to 80% this week. Congratulations. Keep up the great work. That's recognition with direction. And that's how you keep people hungry and not inflated. I want to talk about why I think a little fear is actually healthy. Everyone says, I don't want my staff to fear me. I am not of that nature. I'm not of that culture. I'm not of that brand, if you will. Okay? There's got to be a little bit of fear to instill some respect. So let's define that. They shouldn't fear you, but they should fucking fear mediocrity. They should fear losing privileges, letting the team down, being outperformed. That's healthy fear. It's not intimidation. So cool your tits. It's not intimidation. It's actually just accountability metrics. Healthy fear comes from clear standards and consistent consequences. When your standards are high and you follow through, and that follow through is rock solid, your team knows the line and they respect it. It's no different than raising kids. If you fucking say yes all the time, you're going to get respect lost. I've literally seen this multiple times. Kids, stepkids, friends, kids, me as a child, myself, all about love, all about empathy, but respect is a two-way street. If you do not have standards in your practice, you will be walked on. Just like if you do not have boundaries and standards in your own fucking life, you're going to be treated like a doormat. There is something very sexy and amazing about having standards, okay? So I want you to adopt some. Let's talk perk trap. This is another one. Makes me crazy. And here's where it gets dangerous. You start giving perks. So that could be long lunch Fridays. You give some free product. Maybe you take them to a conference, on a trip. Starts off great till one day they stop saying thank you and they start saying, what else? Guys, I'm going to say that again. Real fucking important here. They stop saying thank you and they start saying, what else? When that happens, you know you've crossed from motivation to manipulation. Perks always need to be earned, and they also need to be reversible. If KPIs drop, perks pause. If professionalism slips, privileges are stopped. No drama, no debates, just a system that is working by design. If you've already thought, I want to go deeper on this conversation, what I want you to do is head over to scalpeloftruth.com, get yourself signed up for Inner Circle, because members get the consulting and the pearls. General listeners get the here's what we're talking about today on the menu, okay? So you get my exact frameworks when you're in the Inner Circle. We're talking about praise protocols, the coaching ladder. We're talking about praise metrics and perk metrics, the same tools I use to train leaders who want respect and results. So if you've ever had a staff member who thinks that they are the clinic fucking celebrity, and then all of a sudden things go south, this next part's going to be for you. I'm getting passionate. I'm getting ramped up for my Inner Circle. So I invite you to swiftly get your ass over to scalpeloftruth.com, set yourself up for the Inner Circle to be Club Bachacho. That's where you're going to get your own personal feed and these in-depth consulting and content-rich episodes. Okay, VIPs, you know what time it is. Let's go.
Go away to see things stay